Hey, what's up, basketball fans? It is Rick Kamla on the Fantasy NBA today. Happy New Year, y'all. We're going to be looking ahead to the January 2nd slate of games. Steve Alexander typically joins me in these spots. He is having some technical difficulties as we launch this episode, and we will talk with him very, very soon. But let's dive in just a second after I tell you about Bet Online. They are the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch games live as they happen. They have the largest selection of odds on everything from football, pro and college, the NBA, college basketball, NHL, and UFC. And they've got the largest selection of odds, as I said, and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's like a kid in a candy store over there. So head to Bet Online today, and don't forget to use promo code BLEAV, BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here. So your boy Rick Kamla here, chopping up in advance the fantasy goodies for the Thursday night slate. Let's start with the Indiana Pacers at the Miami Heat. And I can't help when I see this matchup to think of Jimmy Butler and TJ Warren. I don't even know if TJ Warren's in the NBA right now, but that was a spicy little rivalry for a minute. Maybe we get Jimmy Butler and James Johnson. I would definitely take James Johnson in that. On Bet Online with their UFC odds, he would be a heavy favorite over Jimmy Butler in that one because, of course, Jimmy Butler is a fake tough guy and super soft, and James Johnson is not. But is this going to be a Tyrese Halliburton game or not? Let's set it up for you. In 2 games against Miami this year, Tyrese Halliburton's going 17 points, 10 assists, and shooting 40% from the field. Believe it or not, after earlier in the year, really good at home, really lousy on the road, he's flipped that a little bit. Over the last 5 games, he's been quite a bit better on the road than he has been at home. And the reason I'm asking this question is, Tyrese Halliburton's overall stat line, the percentages aren't great, but the goodies are like pretty good, right? He's Tyrese Halliburton, but how he's getting there is really, it's kind of annoying. I'm sure frustrating for his managers because he's all over the place. One of those things, you're better off if you don't look at the night-to-night box scores with Tyrese Halliburton. So he's been a very inconsistent star so far this year. That's why we asked. I believe this is going to be a Halliburton game because who does Miami have to put on him? Are they going to send Haywood Highsmith his way? I mean, I like Haywood Highsmith. I mean, to me, that's chicken soup for Tyrese Halliburton. Rozier, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Jaime Jaquez. Like, who takes a bite out of him? Who causes him to get disturbed here a little bit? So he's been playing better on the road. It's a big game for Indiana here and Miami, but I do think it's going to be a Halliburton game. And Halliburton's coming off kind of a lame game against Milwaukee. I think it was 12-7-7 with some lousy shooting, so he's kind of got a bounce-back factor here as well. I do like Halliburton tomorrow against, on Thursday night against Miami. It's also a good matchup for Tyler Hero because there's no Aaron Nesmith. And, you have Nebhard, you have Mathurin, and you have TJ McConnell. These guys aren't going to take a bite out of Tyler Hero. And Tyler Hero's rolling right now. Had another good game on January 1st. And the return of Jimmy Butler, 32 with goodies. Okay, so Tyler Hero is good to go. And Indiana's not a great defensive team. Like, Nesmith makes them when he's in there. It's not even about making the team a better defensive team. It's just, okay, Nesmith can sort of put a blanket on a top guy and make him work harder for what he gets. But Turner's not shutting dudes down. Siakam's not shutting dudes down. Hallie's not shutting dudes down. So it's good. It's a good matchup here for Tyler Hero. Should be a fun matchup with Miles Turner and Bam Adebayo. You have a perimeter-based big against a paint-based big. Both are obviously fantasy studs and very, very good players. And I look forward to that matchup. And for Indiana, they've been playing better ball of late, but you got to keep it going here. And this is like a mid-season, in-season playoff type of game for Indiana, right? Miami is 6th in the East at 17-14. Indiana is 8th in the East at 16-18. If Indiana wins this game, they go to 17-18, one game under 500. They drop Miami to 17-16. So they would have the same win total and then be off a little bit with the losses, okay? You got to leapfrog teams. This is a big old game right here for both of these squads, and it should be tasty to watch. Rick Kamla here on Fantasy NBA Today, Sports Ethos Fantasy Basketball platform, breaking down the January 2 slate of games. Big game. I'm excited for this one. I think of Kevin McHale when I see Boston at Minnesota, the great Celtics player, and all of the years as a coach and a shot caller for the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's the Kevin McHale Bowl. We have awesome matchups here, guys. Think about this. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, when Boston is on offense, going up against Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards, one of the best defensive duos in the entire NBA, okay? So do I see them taking a bite out of Tatum and Brown? Maybe, probably not. I actually like Boston more on the road than I do at home. It seems like they're just prone to, I don't know, like, do they get complacent? Do they get bored in home games? But it seems like on the road, that's when the best comes out of Tatum. That's when the best comes out of Brown. And, I don't know. Let me look at their record right now and see what the road record is, because I know at home they're so prone to stubbing their toe. Boston right now 11-3 away is just a ridiculous road record, and they're 13-6 at home, which is a good home record. But they're pretty dominant overall, 24-9, a point differential of plus 10.7. You would think that you're just housing dudes at home. That's not how it goes. They're 11-3 on the road. Only Cleveland is better at 12-3. In the East, and OKC is 13-3 in the West. So as you can see, just a ridiculous road record. And I do anticipate Tatum and Brown play well in this one. And then think about when Minnesota has the ball. You're going to have Ant-Man better, get a good night's sleep and eat his Wheaties in the morning, okay? Because you're going to have Derek White, Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown. Jason Tatum is a good defensive player. He's not elite like those other three guys, but Ant-Man is going to have dudes coming at his head. And I wouldn't even be surprised if they blitz him a little bit to get the ball out of his hands and then, scurry and hustle to get back and close out on an open three-point shooter. So that's what I'm looking for here. Yeah, I think this is a really, really great game of matchups. Kristaps Porzingis is questionable for this one. He missed the game against Toronto. They won by like 54 points. I had a feeling he wasn't going to play in that game. He's missed the last 3 games for Boston. I mean, who knows, right? It's Porzingis, left ankle sprain. I don't know if he's going to play as we record this podcast right now. Just keep your eye out for that. Al Horford was terrible in the last game in a start for Kristaps Porzingis. And so I'm not. Here's my recommendation. You guys stream Al Horford. Every time I stream Al Horford, he gets an 0 for 7 or he has like 5 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. I never get the Al Horford game. I don't know why. You guys know that they're just some dudes that you go with them and the pattern and the last 3, 4, 5 games like leads to a pop game and you put him in your lineup and you just get screwed and the game sucks. That Al Horford's one of those guys for me right now. All right, Brooklyn at Milwaukee. Rick Kamla here, riding solo on Fantasy NBA Today, breaking down the Thursday night slate, January 2 days in to 2025. Cam Thomas should play in this game, all right? He missed Wednesday's game, left hamstring injury management. It wasn't part of a back-to-back, so the thought is here that the Nets will greenlight him against Milwaukee on Thursday. If they do, the Nets are going to be sneaky competitive in this one. I am not predicting necessarily an upset. I'm just saying sneaky because Cam Thomas is back. You've got Cam Johnson playing at a high level. D'Angelo Russell now is in the fold with oh my God. Milwaukee is minus 14.5. I still don't feel great taking the Nets. I don't. Be careful with this one, man. Be careful with this one. Like with Cam Thomas may just go, I'm hitting for 35 tonight. You know how Cam Thomas is, man. And just like really efficient on like 17 of 25 and stuff like that. And, flip the game. Like if Cam Thomas plays, I'm not laying 14.5 with Milwaukee. I may not take it with Brooklyn, and this is not like an official release for me right here. I'm 7-6 ATS this year. Just saying, be careful, man. Cam Thomas makes the Nets sneaky competitive. Damian Lillard's due for a bounce back game in this one. This would be a PRA over for me. It would be a point prop over for me on Dame. He was terrible in the win against Indiana on New Year's Eve. And look, Brooklyn, they don't have anybody to check in. You've got Ben Simmons and Keon Johnson, D'Angelo Russell. Hello, it's going to be a smorgasbord for Damian Lillard out there. And Chris Middleton. Guys, he's just been fantastic over the last 4 games. Okay, just looking at PRA, which is points, rebounds, and assists, and you add up that number, right? Last 4 games, Chris Middleton's gone 31, 31, 31, and then 28 in the last game. 3 straight games of a PRA of 31, and he was basically 21, 5-5 all 3 of those games. Then the last game was like 16, 4-7 or something like that. Middleton is balling right now for the Milwaukee Bucks. Look at his PRA. If you can get his PRA at like a 15, 5-5 and get it at like a 25, it's probably a little north of that right now with a 31, 31, 31, 28. But 28's been the floor for him in the last 4 games. Should have a good one here against Brooklyn. So if Chris Middleton's PRA is 25.5, 26.5, 27.5, play the over on that PRA. Again, the pattern gives us a really good indication that he's going to hit the over on that one, and it's a really tasty matchup against Brooklyn. Could be a sneaky competitive game, which will require more from Chris Middleton, and he won't be on the bench in the 4th quarter of a blowout and that kind of stuff. We want to thank you guys for listening to the Fantasy NBA Today podcast. We appreciate your support. All right, we want you to help us keep this thing thriving and billowing, and it's simple. Head over to sportsethos.com and subscribe. Second, subscribe to the podcast. Leave us a 5-star review. We would appreciate that. Rick Kamla, Fantasy NBA Today, breaking down Thursday, Slate Jan 2. Clippers at Thunder. It's the SGA Bowl. I'll get to that in a second. The Thunder are going for their 13th consecutive win. They've ripped off 12 in a row. We've got some teams that are really cooking at a high level in the NBA. Cleveland is 29-4, which is incredible. OKC is 27-5. All right. That is a game and a half back of 29-4. 27-5 is a gaudy, ridiculous way to start the season. Okay. And I know Doc has them winning it all. I had OKC even before the season began winning the West and representing the West in the NBA Finals. And I do think Boston's going to repeat and get a second in a row. But I think Boston and OKC is going to be your finals. Now, the SGA Bowl. SGA is on a tear, yo. Last 5 games, 41, 45, 23, 35, 40. This is a Kobe-esque run, a Jordan-esque run. That's the kind of heater he's on right now. Best of the best is where he's at right now. James Harden's run in his MVP year when he had 32 straight games with 30 or more points. Obviously he's got a long way to go, and it's not he busted his streak with the 22. You get the point. 3 40s in the last 5 games. And in terms of the scoring title, SGA is going to have a hard time overcoming Giannis, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't want this to happen, but how SGA could do it is get Giannis to miss a massive chunk of games and fall below the game threshold, and then you could leapfrog him. But unless that happens, it probably won't happen. Giannis is basically a point per minute this year. He's at 32.6 PPG, and SGA is at 31.3. So 1.3 point per game difference. Halfway through the year, that's going to be tough to overcome because, SGA is just putting up badass line after badass line, and he's still 1.3 PPG behind Giannis. And the deeper you go in the season, the harder it is to make up that gap. Now, for MVP and SGA, all right, as of about 5 days ago, ESPN Bet had Jokic at a plus 115, SGA at a plus 170, and Giannis at a plus 450 for MVP. And then the other guys started to drip back a little bit. But so that's kind of stacking right now as your top 3 for MVP. I don't disagree with that. Jokic is averaging a triple-double, okay? And so if he does that, how do you not give him the MVP? I'm a big believer in that. Some of you may not. When Russell Westbrook averaged that triple-double with OKC, which I predicted before the season, by the way. I said he'd go 30, 10, and 10 in the first year after Durant. I got that one right. And I did predict he would win MVP. I got that one right. But a lot of people didn't think he should have won MVP because it's a triple-double and people downgrade the triple-double. I'm not. I admire triple-doubles like a mountain range, okay, at sunrise or sunset. I don't know what to tell you. I think people are kind of nuts downplaying triple-doubles. So Jokic, if he averages a triple-double and Denver is like, very high in the standings, I mean, you just give it to him, and it's 4 out of 5. If he doesn't average a triple-double, to me, that's where SGA comes in. And maybe SGA's just got to just go silly on this and just rip off 40s and take the lead in the scoring race. And I don't know, but what does SGA have to do to win an award? He should have won Most Improved Player. He got robbed by all these lame Lowry Markkanen voters. I mean, give me a freaking break. He didn't even finish the damn season. And he was my MVP last year over Nikola Jokic. Jokic got the award. So what's this guy got to do to win an award, man? Just saying. I'm a huge SGA guy, by the way. All right, one more note here on Clippers at Thunder. And I called it the SGA Bowl. Of course, it's also the James Harden Bowl. Started his career in OKC a million years ago. Be careful. Be careful. Doc talks all the time. He loves the reunion game angle and this kind of thing. And I do too. Okay. It usually works with most players. And some players aren't that guy. Be careful with James Harden in this game. I would fade him or go under on him. I most definitely would not go over on a point prop or a PRA prop. He gets in his head in big games. Hello, every big playoff game he's ever played. And I'm not talking about game 1, 2, 3, 4. He plays well in those games. I'm talking about game 5, 6, and 7. Okay, where it really matters. That's when James Harden turns into a joke artist. Okay, reunion games tend to mess with his head a little bit. He's better against Charlotte on Tuesday when no one's watching. All right, that's when he goes for the massive triple doubles and he pads his stats. 2 games against OKC this year. James Harden's at 14, 12, and 8. Pretty good PRA. I mean, 34, and you're flirting with a triple-double, and you're shooting 32%, okay? Because OKC has waves of defenders to throw at him. I don't think Caruso's going to play in this game, but you got SGA, you got J-Dub, you got Dort, you got Cason Wallace, you got Isaiah Joe, you got Kenrich Williams. You got guys, okay, to throw at James Harden. You can double him, you can blitz him, take him off the rock. And shoot, and then they've got another defender to throw at Norman Powell, and then say, hey, Chris Dunn, Derrick Jones Jr., hello, beat us, and because they know they won't. Okay, so be careful with James Harden. Fade him or under him in this matchup against the the Oklahoma City Thunder. All right, previewing Thursday night's game, Jan 2 here, NBA, Fantasy NBA today with your boy Rick Kamla. Pardon me. Philadelphia at Golden State. So I want to talk about Golden State in that side of this as we preview this game. Golden State is in it right now. They are just drifting back in the standings, and I think we're all very aware of that. I saw something go viral on Twitter that Steph Curry said, as the kids say, we're very mid right now. I thought that was hilarious. The Golden State Warriors right now are super mid. They are 16 and 16. It doesn't get more mid than that. They are in 10th place. As I said, preseason. They will not be in the top 10. And they are right now, but they're drifting towards not being in the top 10 and drifting towards me being right about them. After their hot start, they have hit the skids. So 3-7 in their last 10 games. And they've had injuries, but I just didn't see this happening for them. Phoenix is 1 game back, okay? And then Sacramento's 2.5 games back. And Sac may just be screwed. They've already made a coaching change, which is usually a death knell. But Phoenix, and Beal just went down. I mean, Phoenix, right? Booker comes back, same game Beal goes out. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Wash, rinse, repeat with this team. So who the hell knows? Maybe Phoenix just can't get healthy and can't get up above Golden State. But Golden State's ship appears to me to be taking on more water right now than Phoenix is. But the problem for Golden State, folks, is Steph Curry and Draymond Green. Okay? It's not Moses Moody and it's not Jonathan Kuminga, and it's just, no. Like, Kuminga's balling and Steve Kerr has put a bridle on him, and it sucks for a million reasons, and it has for a long time. In the previous game, I don't even remember who Golden State played in their previous. It doesn't matter. Steph sucked and Draymond sucked. Okay. They did. And that was the verb. They got to play better. Okay. They are the problem right now. It's not the young guys. Steph, over the last 2 weeks, has been dreadful. 19, 3, and 5, shooting 39% from the field. Draymond Green in the last 2 weeks. Charles Barkley, he can't even call it a triple single. This is just triple awful. 5, 6, and 4. 5, 6, and 4. A PRA of 16 from Draymond Green over the last 2 weeks. And yet he's starting over Jonathan Kuminga. For the love of orange, make it make sense. Draymond Green screams bench player right now. Screams it. Mike Conley in Minnesota screams bench player to me. Mike Conley, he's such a nice guy. I want to be careful here. He's just not playing well, man. And showing signs of age, right? And I mean, they're going to ride with Kyle Lowry in Philly. You're a bench player now. You know what I'm saying? And we like you, and you're a good bench player, but that's what you are. And some guys are being played above where they should be because of reputation and stuff. Draymond Green is that guy. Kuminga needs to be unleashed. And they're losing. It's like, why do you keep doing this asinine stuff if you're losing? Fix it. Unleash Jonathan Kuminga. So that's a huge problem, though. It's Draymond and Steph Curry. It's the two dynasty guys, okay? And is Dennis Schroeder ever going to have a good game with the Warriors? I told y'all this wasn't going to work. They traded for Dennis Schroeder. Oh, man, blah, 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 blah. I said, yawn. He's not going to fit. You got Steph, you got Dre. Schroeder's going to be like, I'm on the ball, I'm off the ball, I'm over here, I'm ready, but I'm not a catch and shoot guy. No, it's not going to work. Okay, he's gone 5, 9, 9, 11, 7, 11, 12. Okay, and he's starting and playing big minutes. And he's gone 5, 9, 9, 11, 7, 11, 12. Ew. And there's not goalies here. Okay, it's like a 1 rebound, 3 assist type of line here. He's been awful. Is he ever going to have a good game with the Warriors? I'm going to fade that. Or answer yes to that. I got confused there. You know what? But I'm over it. He is a waiver wire guy. If you're like, Cam, I'm hanging in there with Dennis Schroeder, cut him loose, bro. It was nice in Brooklyn. It was goody-rific in Brooklyn. He ain't Brooklyn anymore, bro. He's not. Let him go. Portland at the Lakers. Breaking down the Thursday night slate here, Fantasy NBA today with your boy, Rick Kamla. Portland at the Lakers. The Lakers, this is about the Lakers role players for me. And let me pull up their last box score here, because we know that in the Lakers' loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers, Cleveland is so freaking good, by the way. They beat the Lakers 122-110 on New Year's Eve. First game for LeBron James is a 40-year-old. Welcome to the 40-plus crew, LeBron James. Where's your gray hair? In that first game is a 40-year-old player. LeBron went 23, 4, and 7. Austin Reeves was magnificent again, 35, 9, and 10. He has a rocket ship attached to his back right now. And Anthony Davis was gargantuan with 28, 13, and 4, 3 steals, 2 blocks, and 2 threes. One of those patented Anthony Davis lines, right? Rui Hachimura, 3 of 10. Max Christie, who should not be starting for the LA Lakers, 2 of 6. DFS, 1 of 4. That's Dorian Finney-Smith. Cam Reddish, 0 for 3. Shake Milton, 2 for 4. Hey, he was actually at 50% as a bench player. Wow. And then you had Dalton connected, 2 of 8. Okay. Ugh, that is so atrocious. That's why the Lakers lost that basketball game. What was those guys? Okay. They combined for, let's see here, 12, 14, and 10 is 24. That wasn't bench scoring. That was role players scoring, including 2 starters. That's 6 players giving you 24 points. What? This game is on those Lakers. This game is not on Davis or LeBron or Reeves. Take the night off, fellas. Okay? These other guys got to carry their water. These other guys got to earn their checks, man. And for the Lakers to do anything, they're 18 and 14 somehow. These guys have to play well. Reeves, James, and Davis are going to check the box every night, okay? Especially Reeves now that Russell is out, and it just seems like he's more activated, has more freedom. and all that kind of stuff. But that's my whole thing on this game. And I'll be watching late night, and I'll be looking at these bench players. LeBron, Davis, and Reeves combined for 86 of the 110 points they scored against Cleveland. And Cleveland got their core four all played well in that game. And then they got some nice contributions from bench players, and they won by 12. So the math problem for the Lakers was players basically 4 through like 9. And they didn't answer the bell. So I'm looking at that on the Lakers side of this game. Jeremy Grant is going to miss this game once again with a facial contusion. It's going to mean another start for Denny Abdia. And what I like about Denny, first of all, he's a goody guy. He's not a huge block steal guy, but he's a PRA guy. All right. I like, I mean, if we can get the PRA guy, like, and the fantasy gold, all right, now it's like your golf game when you're hitting the crap out of the ball off the tee, when your irons are strong and your short game is, and obviously for me, my tee game will be sharp and my iron game will suck. And then my short game will be mid, or my short game will be trash. My iron game and my tee game will be really good. And I just can't put it all together, that golf game. It's so vexing, man. But for Denny Abbey, at least he's giving us the PRA. And he's got a motor, all right? And in Portland, like, Simon's motor comes and goes. Sharp's motor comes and goes. DeAndre Ayton's motor is never on unless it's March and April, and nobody cares, and nobody's watching Portland, and then he decides to ball out and pad the stats and tell us all that he's dominating. I know, it's so annoying. It's so lame. But I don't know. Like, the Lakers at Portland it has always been like a house of horrors for the Lakers. I'm not saying that they lose every game up there, but it'll be close games. They take L's up there. It's just, at Portland's kind of a weird deal for the Lakers. Portland at Crypto should be a freaking laydown game for the LA Lakers, man. Go drill this team. They don't even want to win. They're in it for Cooper Flag right now. So this should be kind of one of those kick up your heels games for the Los Angeles Lakers against the Portland Trailblazers at home. And I want to give you the point spread on this one and see if it's reasonable here on the Lakers side. The Lakers are minus 7.5. I like the Lakers minus 7.5. I do. That's a release for you guys. I'm 7-6 ATS, and let's do this one. Let's do this one. Role players play better at home, and all of those role players have chewed on that L. They know that L is on them. They know it. This isn't just me talking here. The Connects and the Christies, they all know that they sucked, and that's why they lost that game. These guys are professionals. They're competitive, and they're going to dig deep. But it's a home game. Role players play way better at home than they do on the road. And it's obviously a great matchup against just a crappy Portland team that plays no defense. So I think the role players are going to play well. I think it's going to be, maybe a laugher here. And now I see Lakers minus 9.5. I don't like it at 9.5. Over here on the left on ESPN.com, it says 7.5. And then right under the time of the game, it says 9.5. I'm in the twilight zone here. I like it minus 7.5. I don't like it minus 9.5. I don't know what number your book has. You're getting value at 7.5, right? Not a lot of value at 9.5. There's just not. So that's where I'm at with that. And I have a random take for you here, guys. Scoot Henderson's going to have a game. Scoot Henderson is playing pretty good minutes off the bench. I think it was 26 minutes in his last game. He had like 6.7 assists. He's had some big games recently, and this is just a gut. I'm not going to hit you with all kinds of splits and all this kind, and I love splits, but this is just a vibe I got. And we'll, Doc and I will talk about it at like midnight on Thursday night as we break it down and give you the recap here. So we'll pay this off, but I got a vibe that Scoot Henderson's going to have a good game. And I'm talking like 15 points, 8 assists. I don't know, 17 points, 9 assists. Like, he's not going to the Hall of Fame off this game, but I think he's going to have a pop game off the bench. I just do. I feel it. Why? It might be a blowout, right? He's a bench player. They play more minutes in blowouts. But it's also a rise to the occasion thing. I do think Scoot Henderson's a dog. with a high motor. I do think he loves the game. And I do think that he plugs into like the Garden or crypto or TD Garden or like, the big environments, right? And he does have these games you're like, damn, Scoot Henderson was awesome last night. Bam. I think this is going to be one of those games. Just a vibe I got, man. So there it is. The breakdown on the January 2nd slate of games from your boy Rick Kamla here on Fantasy NBA Today. Before we wrap, I want to make sure that you all take a moment to download the Sports Ethos app. It's completely free, keeps you updated on all the major sports news. Plus, the tools included will give you the edge to dominate your fantasy basketball competition. Go grab it from your favorite app store and continue to win with us, the Sports Ethos app. And thank you for tuning into this episode, folks. For Andre Lemouche, our great producer, I am Rick Kamla, and you guys can catch us live on the Sports Ethos YouTube channel or find us on the Fantasy NBA Today podcast feed. This show is presented by Bet Online. Bye-bye for now.